Kindly share the link to a friend. Tell them that we are online. We are on. We have started, so that they can be able to join us. They can be able to join us. We have a very interesting topic today, and I'm very sure that it's going to help you on your bookkeeping. So karibu sana, sana, sana. And I always ask a question. And the question is, where are you watching the webinar from? Where are you watching the webinar from? Kindly share. Kindly share as we give 5 minutes to some people to just come in. Millicent says Kiambu. Angela says Kisumu, Kakamega. Karibuni sana Malindi. Sony Sugar. Oh, Migori County. Karibuni sana. Thank you. Mombasa, Nakuru City. I can see you. Karibuni sana. I also have a third question. Is it your first time? Is it your first time to ever see me or to ever come to this training? Is today your first time? Is today your first time? Is today your first time? So if today is your first time, you can say a yes. It's a yes. Oh my goodness, Angela is your first time, and Priscilla. Oh my God. Oh, so many of you. Where have you been? So I've been conducting these webinars online for the longest, since 2020 during COVID. And before that, I was doing physical training. I started doing tax training in 2018. There are people who can't count how many times. And for people who cannot count, I hope you've been learning something that has been of value to you. So if you've been coming here, you should tell us what you learned or that is on value and it is helping you. So I've been doing this since 2020 for webinars. Prior, we've been doing so many other trainings. And I'm very sure that you're going to really enjoy today. And today we'll be talking about bookkeeping. If you want to know when we host this training, you can go online, RWK Africa, like our page and follow us. You can also follow me, Dr. Regina Kengori, CPA-K. You're going to see me on all socials, and you can follow me, and it will help you and me be able to deliver this training much, much better. So can we learn about bookkeeping today and how to enhance our bookkeeping to be able to save on tax? Remember, one of the greatest things that I've always seen when it comes to taxation is that when you have wrong books or when your books are incomplete, you stand a chance of losing a tax case. And actually, one of the biggest things that made me start doing taxation online is when I felt that most of the people who had a lot of tax cases in KRA and a lot of bills, tax obligation, is because of making mistakes that could have been avoided. So those mistakes are avoided on your bookkeeping. So the moment you're able to keep your records very well, then you can be able to avoid most of these mistakes, and you can be able to be assured that even when those tax authorities come to your organization, you can be able to work it out. So that actually was one of the biggest areas and biggest motivation to just do the tax training. And if you've been following the one who said they can't count, I'm very passionate about bookkeeping, extremely passionate about it. And so today I'm going to do a topic that I'm extremely passionate about. Let's go to our training today and see what we have. I hope you can see my slide. If you can see my slide, just say a yes. so that I can know that we are together. If you can see my slide, just say yes. Just say, oh, yes, 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 I'm okay. So I'm okay. And share. The webinar is free. Just share to a friend. Tell them that you are online. My co-host, you can put the link there. My co-host, kindly do the link so that somebody can share to a friend easily. Do the link on the chat so that somebody can share the link. They can be able to share easily for someone to just come in, especially people who are accountants in the organization. This is for you. This is for you. So share to an accountant, share to somebody who is struggling with their books so that they can get something today. My co-host, I'm waiting for that link. When you share, I proceed. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. Yeah, so the link is there. The link is there, you can share. And there's no sign up required. So it is as easy as going to the link and getting in. Just share to a friend. You can also share to an entrepreneur. I love talking to entrepreneurs, and my trainings are very simple. So even the entrepreneur, even if they don't have the accounting background, they can still understand what I'm training. So let's talk about it. So what are we going to learn today? I'm going to do an introduction, what bookkeeping entails, the importance of bookkeeping, how to enhance, that is our topic for the day, enhancing bookkeeping, the documents that are required. Some of us have so many things in the office, we don't have the correct documents that will be required, especially for taxation. I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about a few emerging issues. Remember, we also conduct trainings on tax trends, so always be here to learn something about tax trends. I did that last week on Friday. And we also do a sector-based webinar. So depending on the sector, we can do a training. So when you follow us, you can be able to see some of those activities. So let's do an introduction. Enhancing your bookkeeping to save on tax involves keeping accurate, organized financial records and taking advantage of tax-saving opportunities legally available for you. We also train about tax saving strategies when we do come also in learn. We shall be discussing some tips to improve your bookkeeping and reduce your tax obligations. So what is bookkeeping? It is a process of recording and organizing financial transactions for business, tracking income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. And I'm going to take you through the actual process. I'll take you through the actual process. Bookkeeping is crucial for managing finances effectively and ensuring the long-term success and sustainability of the business. So what does a bookkeeping entails? Recording financial transaction. And when we talk about a financial transaction, it's all transactions. And this is where especially SMEs we miss out in our record keeping. So this is everything from sales to purchases to expenses. Some of us, most of us, our biggest area that we are able to track is our sales. We even have a point of sale. We have very nice receipts. But when it comes to our purchases, we don't keep the records. When it comes to our expenditure, and that's also something critical because you cannot know how much profits you're making if you don't keep your expenses records very, very well. So I go to organization, they don't keep petty cash records. And I'm going to talk about those records so that you can see what records you have and compare with what I'm going to tell you today. So it's recording all financial transactions from sales to purchases, to expenses, to everything, to payroll, to payments, every single details of the transaction in our organization. Classifying transactions into categories, very important. So we have overheads in our accounting software. And today you cannot tell me you don't have an accounting software with you and you're running a business. And I'm also going to introduce the accounting software that we have developed, and I'll give you a story behind it. It's called My Accurate Books software, and I'm going to talk about it at the tail end. So classifying transaction means you classify a transaction like fuel, transport, rent, so that you can be able to track. The importance of classification is tracking. You can say last month I spent fuel on 1,000. I spent 500,000 on fuel. That is in the month of January. In the month of February, I spent 600 or 700. In the month of March, which we are now, already by 21st, I've spent 1 million. So you can be able to even go back and say, what is making this increase? I don't know if we do record keeping for decision making. We keep records to help us make decisions. And I don't know also if we are able to do budgets. Because as a business, you're supposed to have budgets on a monthly basis, that this is the level. If it is fuel, we should be at this level. If it is salaries or what, it is at this level. So then we can be able to verify with the actuals and see what are the gaps. So we classify our transactions into a category, maintain journals and ledgers, and this is done very well with the accounting software. Bank reconciliations. I guess for bank reconciliation, I post. How many of us do bank reconciliations? Because most of us don't do this crucial activity in our business. And this is mostly even why we lose money. We have cash flow issues, and then we have fraud. And I also want to see how many people do bank reconciliation on their system, the accounting system they are using. When you go to Asians, and I don't know how many also are accountants with the Asians, they do bank reconciliation in their system and bank reconciliation on those big books. And the actual money that is written down there, it is the actual money in the bank. They can be able to monitor bounce checks. Some of you can't even know a check bounced. When a customer comes and pays through M-Pesa, they can even go back and say they didn't pay, and M-Pesa refunds them their money. And you not even know, especially organizations that have so many transactions. I go to spaces where people sell with the tills, and yet the cashier doesn't have that till. The till is with the owner. They are telling you at nionyeshe message. and you can even know that you can even buy that day, and tomorrow you can buy something else and use the same message ya jana and show them, and they'll tell you go. And at the end of the day, we don't know if this money hit our account. Bank reconciliation is supposed to monitor both money inflow and money outflow. And in today's age, if you're not doing bank reconciliation, my friend, you're having so many issues with internal issues and KRA issues. When I come to you as an auditor, because I have the background of taxation, and I told you that if you're doing audits, and we do audits very, very well, if you're doing audit, the auditor should understand tax implications. The bank reconciliation has to reconcile with your sales. It has to reconcile with your VAT and your sales ledger. So you cannot do an audit without a bank. Otherwise, that day that KRA will come, that will be the bone of contention. So bank reconciliation is very, very vital. And I hope that from today, some of us accountant, because there's nobody who is monitoring what we do. Our work is professional. Nobody, even the director doesn't know what work you come to do, because nobody checks you. You don't do bank reconciliation. You don't do petty cash reconciliation. You don't do those things. Yet they are very crucial. The moment you leave or the moment there will be an issue, be having so many issues that you'll not be solving. As an accountant, it is very important for you to be extremely responsible. Even if nobody is even paying you above board for doing some of these things, it is important to do them, because the moment you enhance these skills within you, that you want to see your bank reconciliation balancing, you're going to get even better opportunities because of that. So I hope I emphasized enough. Let's proceed. Generating financial statements. I don't know how many of us generate financial statement on a monthly basis. Management reports that the organization you're providing them a correct profit and loss per month. That is very important. You cannot run a business in this time and age without understanding your profitability levels, without understanding how your expenses are working and everything, how everything is running. So you have to get an accounting software that at the end of the month, it is able to give you financial statements which are correct. So every data has been provided. You have fed the system with correct data. So with that, I just want to see, let me go back here. Let me go to the chat. Let me go to the chat because I want to ask this question and I want to hear how many of us get to see management reports on a monthly basis? How many of us discuss with management reports on a monthly basis? And you provide it by faith. You know, some even right now we are doing audits, and we are doing audits for 2024, and we're in March. When we call accountants to give us trial balances, they are telling us that we are still balancing. We are still balancing our ledgers. March, 3 months later. So I wonder if we were providing management report on a monthly basis. So by fifth, we do them on quarterly basis by 15th day after end of the quarter. Dixon, that is very good. So the quarterly is 3 months. That's okay. But I also want to see people who are able to provide on a monthly basis, because that's how you keep tabs with how the business is doing. So I want to challenge you as an accountant. You can go that extra mile and be able to provide that documents. You provide a bank reconciliation, which is very, very important and very vital to the organization, and a management report on a monthly basis. Then that shows your capability and your dedication to see the organization running very well, because some of these documents are documents that help management in making decisions. Let's proceed. Analyzing financial data. We analyze financial data out of getting the financial statement, ensuring compliance with regulations, facilitating audits. So bookkeeping helps in facilitating audits. When I come to your organization as an auditor, I have to ask for those trial balances. I have to check the management reports that you've been providing the whole entire year. I have to look at that. So it will facilitate us during audit to see how the organization has been performing using an accounting software. Bookkeeping entails an accounting software. So we are past eras where we were saying we do manual records. So I'm even the smallest of the smallest business, even kinyozi and salons are using accounting softwares. So even your business has to be somewhere. And the good side with having an accounting software is very easy, that you're able to track your sales very well, track your customers very, very well. And there are so many benefits of using those systems. We'll talk about my accurate books. What is the importance of bookkeeping? Financial transparency. When you get an organization, by the way, when I come to you and I find that the ledgers are not balancing, journal entries are not being kept, petty cash is not reconciled, no bank reconciliation has been done a full year, no management report, I start questioning transparency. Are we, and most of accountants here, you can bear me witness, most of us who want to do any fraudulent activities, we don't want to keep correct records. So there are so many things that are not balancing out, so that in case of even a forensic audit, we cannot even find where the errors are. So when I go to organization that does not have, it has so many incomplete records, is a sign that there is something that is not okay. Financial transparency has a problem. Another importance is help in proper decision making. I've talked about that. When you set budgets and then you have actuals, you can be able to make a decision. When you get that management report, which is correct, it can even help you make a decision like getting a loan. Most of our organizations get loans, yet we don't even understand our profitability. So when that loan is injected in the business, you cannot even repay it. So you even end up collapsing, because in the first place, the reports that you've been having are not correct. So it will help you in those decision making. Regulatory compliance, you're able to comply, especially with the tax issues, with everything. Is very, very important. Business planning and forecasting, you can be able to plan. For instance, for the person who says they are able to do quarterly, when you have that quarterly review, you can be able to plan for the next quarter and say, for this first quarter, we were able to do a turnover of 5 million. For the next quarter, we want to do a turnover of 7 million or even double this. And then you can even identify how can we do now get to that level. So it will help you even do those significant planning, and also even planning for getting a loan, getting a car, those business decisions that you want to make, especially cash intensive, because the moment you withdraw cash or that working capital out of the organization without proper planning, it can bring the business down. Access to financing and investment, it will help you access financing. So when you go to a bank, and some of us, because of our transaction and our turnovers, the banks are very easy to give us loans. And the bank won't want to give you loan because you're doing turnovers. But for you, you don't understand this turnover I'm doing, what is my profit margin? So when the bank comes with an offer that I'm going to give you, I can give you 10 million. And because you did not have correct books, you don't know how you're going to even repay. You end up having so many cash flow issues because of that decision. And then also investment. If you want to bring a partner, if you want to bring an investor, they want to see how the business is operating. They want to see the profitability, how organized your books are, how organized the organization structures are. So it will help you on investment. Risk management. Because before even something becomes so so big that it can even bring so many issues in the organization, you are able to detect something. So risk management, the moment most of this expenditure we have, there's some expenditure that you can save cost on. So because we are not having financials, you find, for instance, something like fuel, because it's a consumable expense. Risk, you find that this month was overspent. There are so many issues. So those risky activities continue happening, but you cannot be able to detect. By the time you come to know, is a year, 2 years, 2 years after, and a lot of mess has been done. Some of the people or some clients will come and say, I want a forensic audit. Somebody has been stealing money, and to attune, and you ask, according to your calculation, how much do you think? They will tell you 10 million, 5 million. You even wonder, before all that was happening, because you're the core of the organization, where were you? What was going on for all this to be happening? So audit facilitation, I talked about that. It facilitates us to do audits. Operational efficiency, you are able to operate optimally when you have correct books. Effective tax planning, we can plan. We can be able to know the profitability of the company is this much. We can do tax planning very, very easily. Some of us don't pay VAT because we think that VAT is eating on our profit, which is not true. So during this time is when you know how much VAT can I pay? And when I pay this VAT, how much is my profit level? So that I don't have, especially now that we're having auto-population, which is a game changer. I'll talk about it during the emerging issues. The organization that were paying VAT 500,000, they are now paying 1 million, double. And now they are saying, no, it's eating on our profit. Now we are working for the government. So bookkeeping will help you make this, will help you plan some of this planning, tax planning, and also installment taxes. So we can also be able to plan on installment tax, which is a part of corporation tax. And then correct bookkeeping will also help you in accurate business valuation. I don't know if we do business valuation to know how much we are worth. So it will help you. So how do we enhance? This was the core of the topic. How do we enhance our bookkeeping? Of course, as we save tax, we have seen that it also has so many other benefits. So what do we do to enhance our bookkeeping? Regular review and reconciliation of accounts. So if you're not doing those management reports, even if it's on a quarterly basis, those regular reviews, then there's a problem. Reconciliation of accounts, and reconciliation is huge. From bank reconciliation, KRA ask for a sales ledger. When they ask for a sales ledger, and they'll go back 5 years. Some of our sales, how we do it, we get a sale. Sometimes a client changes something, you create another invoice. There's a return of something, you're supposed to do a credit note, you don't do. So at the end of the month, the sales that is in the system is not even the actual sales. There are like 5 invoices or 6 invoices that should have been there, that are not there, that should have even been deleted. And things keep piling. Every month, the sales are piling. So reconciliation is very important. Reconciliation of your sales ledger, purchases ledger, stocks. Do we reconcile our stocks? Do we do physical counts of our stock and reconcile it with what we are having on our software? So for an organization that are stock intense, that their business is stock, wholesalers, retailers, they have a lot of stock. If I come to your organization and you don't have the correct stock keeping management, I know that you're having so many issues. So stock reconciliation is very important, where you have a stockkeeper, there's physical count being done every day, there's a system to reconcile stocks, being reconciliation done every day. If there are variances, they are held, the answers are answered daily. We don't wait until the end of the year when we need to do a stock take. And when we do a stock take, you're like, I thought my stock was 5 million. Now we are being told it's 2 million. Where did 3 million go? Okay. Utilize accounting software effectively. So we have My Accurate Books and any other software that you're using. You utilize them. Most of you utilize the point of sale. or the sales where you can do a receipt and invoicing by the rest. We don't use them, and which is very dangerous because at the end of the day, it cannot give you a profit and loss, which is correct. Our software should even give you a balance sheet, which is correct. Maintained organized records. Besides having our records in the accounting software, we must have manual records. Remember, there's a receipt that when you sold, there was a receipt. When you purchased, there was an invoice that you received. Maintaining those books. One time I went to a client called and he said, I'm getting my creditor is asking me to pay, my supplier is asking me, I pay him 14 million, but I think I owe him 5 million. And we went back like 3 years. We couldn't even trace records. It was very hard. Those records that you're having an accountant who, even you, because I know some of you are accountants, that you're clean and organized. If you have a supplier, you have a supplier file. If these suppliers keep supplying every day, you have their separate file. Nitumie yako kwanza nione. Because you're not even sure that you have that your supplier, you can send them statements about how much you have received, how much you have paid them, and the balances. It is very, very important. And fact filing. If you're having utility, you have a utility file. That is electricity, it is water. If you're having transport, the fuel, you have a fuel file. And this file has to be filed for 5 years for tax purposes. So you're having, there are many organizations who even have a record keeping store that they can be able to store something. But the very last year, KRA gave data for legacy that they gave us tax bills for 2020, for 2014 backward. That tax not in use. So you get somebody has arrears for 2010. And even if we went and we said no, the provision is a price to get people having records for 2010 and 2009, correct records that were helping them being able to solve those issues. So you get somebody who has been given a legacy debt of 30 million. One of our clients, they gave us records for 2014, correct records, 2013, 20. How about you? If KRA comes for 3 years, from today 3 years backward, some of us who don't even have data. Those physical data is very, very important. Some of us, when we for VAT, we keep them for filing VAT. After that, you don't even know where that invoice went. So manual record keeping, organized, having a payroll file, a casual wages sheet file. If you're having casuals, there's a casual wages sheet file that you're supposed to make them sign. If you're paying them on a weekly basis, they're signing somewhere. And that wages sheet should have their name, ID numbers, the amount they are paying, the number of days, have them sign somewhere, that you have a record for that. You have a record for any expense. You have a record for petty cash, and that petty cash is being reconciled. So maintain organized records. Stay updated on tax laws and regulations. There are so many changes that are happening, and that's how we saw the necessity of doing tax trends. So we do tax trends every month. You can come in and learn and keep learning about taxes. Implement internal controls. I guess last month we talked about internal controls, and I would want you to listen on that. It's on YouTube. I have a channel, Dr. Regina Kimori, CPA-K. We started a YouTube channel this year, so you can go there and learn about internal controls. When you enhance your bookkeeping, you're able to enhance your internal controls because you're conscious about what is happening within the organization. By the way, I realize that most of our organization, they don't fall because they were not selling, they don't have customers, no, or because of, most of them have issues, management issues, which affect even internal controls. So you find you're losing stocks because you're not able to keep correct books, correct stock management systems. You don't have a system, you don't do physical stock, nobody is monitoring your stock. So you end up closing the organization because people are stealing from you. I've gone to organization where you find a cashier creating a customer over the system because nobody is monitoring the system. The accounting system should even have audits. Do we audit our accounting software? It should be audited. So to even determine who does what rights do these people have? I'll talk about accounting software audit, I guess, in the next slide. So you find somebody doing raising an invoice because goods should leave the organization through an invoice. An invoice is raised, it's given to the loaders and the stock team, and goods leave. After they leave, this customer, this cashier or accountant comes back to the system and say paid. This organization that does not have bank reconciliations, so nobody will detect that. The person who is doing those customer, because a customer being sold on credit, they are not on cash, on credit, should be verified. Who is this person who is being sold on credit? Is somebody who is supposed to say, sell to this one, don't sell to this one, credit controller. So this accountant is a customer creator, is a credit controller, is a bank record. So many issues around internal controls that end up having so many issues. Separate personal and business finances. So if you have, especially for people who are running small businesses, this is one of the mistakes for MSMEs, that the personal expenses and the business finances are intertwined. You even operate the business account on your phone, on your mobile phone. You're doing mobile banking. So if you need to pay for something, you remove that money to your M-Pesa and then you pay. And when you're going home for shopping, you also pay with that money. So at the end of the day, and the business you're sitting. Remember, I mentioned here before, from the business account, any withdrawal by the director from the business account can be termed as withdrawals and money they paid themselves. So if you use money and you M-Pesa, you pay yourself that money. Even if you are paying for petty cash and the other thing, KRA can term that money as money you paid yourself, and they can charge you pay as you earn. So it is extremely dangerous. Seek professional assistance when needed if you have issues with your bookkeeping. Before we even come to tax, you need help. You need help to reorganize the whole organization afresh and organize the books, organize everything so that you can even clearly know how the organization is moving. If you need to invest, don't invest before you get to the correct bookkeeping. Don't get a loan before you get some of these systems and structures in place. Conduct periodic financial review, very, very important. Most of organizations, they do it on a monthly basis. Those ones that I want to really check, they do on a monthly basis. Others, they do on a quarterly basis. Others they don't do. It is very, very important to conduct periodic financial reviews and discuss with your team so that they can also be involved in what you're doing and can also be able to give you feedback on how you can improve improve the business. Invest in ongoing training and education, very, very important. Learn, like the way you're here to learn about bookkeeping is very, very important. You can go an extra mile to learn a course, learn a masterclass, and we are doing a masterclass on bookkeeping and audit. I'll mention that we are doing it in May. So we'll give you ample time to plan and be able to join us. So how do we enhance set reminders for important dates? So this is the dates, especially to pay taxes and any other thing. We also have to pay licenses, insurances, just have a calendar to be able to remind you on some of these payments. Build an audit trail. Very important, internal audits. I don't know how many of us do internal audits. Tax health checks. And this, we are very good in internal audits. And it's important for you to, because when we come for internal audit, we check internal controls and bookkeeping, how you're able to keep your book, tax health check. I don't know, some of us, have you gone to that extra mile to just be able to be organized? So I'll ask that question as we move on. As we move on, let's proceed before I ask a question. So what are some of the bookkeeping methods? They include the manual bookkeeping, and I said I'll excuse this one for very low organization, but right now we have accounting software which are free. It will really help you to be organized, and also for the clients that you're serving to see that you're also someone with something. Computerized bookkeeping, you're using an accounting software. And by the way, My Accurate Books has a free version, a point of sale. So this will help you in, so ethics and security in bookkeeping, accuracy and honest, also help you in fraud prevention, especially when you keep your record very well, and also confidentiality. You're able to protect sensitive information and ensure secure record keeping. End of period procedures, closing of books. You're able to do it on a monthly basis, quarterly, annually, adjusting entries. So if there are entries that are, when we come through audit, we can also help you adjust some of these. We can help you do this. Okay. My goodness, I didn't know where I touched. Can you be able to hear me? If you can be able to hear me, just say a yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So before I talk about document requires for bookkeeping, because I want to talk about documents, I want to ask a question. Let me go to the chat. I ask a question. To a tune of 0 to 10, how is your record keeping? How is your record keeping? To a tune of 0 to 10, how is your record keeping? I don't know if I should talk about the documents, then we review. I guess when we talk about documents, we are going to review the number that you're going to put there. So how is your bookkeeping? Tabitha is very confident. She says yes. I hope she can tell us what she does differently. Tabitha, do you do management reports and reconciliation? You can tell us. Dixon says at Sony Sugar, we do 9 out of 10. One thing that I would say about corporations and this big organization, they are very particular about record keeping. So Dickens, I'm very sure the structures, the accounting structures in the organization, they are very tough. So as an accountant, when you go to such organizations, by the way, some of you say, I want to get a better job. If you want to go to now Sony Sugar, who are doing 9 to 10, you have to up your game in the organization that you are in. Remember, during interview, they will ask you those questions and not be having answers with it. You don't practice. Even if you read the interview questions prior and say, what will they ask me? And you pre-assume what they will ask you. It's not as when you are doing it. You're going to answer that question differently because you're practically doing it. The other one, you're just thinking of how a bank reconciliation is done. So for every person who wants to elevate their accounting journey and want to grow their journey, they have to do some of these things and do them in the organization you are in, whether someone is looking at you or they are not. Some of us don't do them. If Sony Sugar did not have internal audits and people checking, they will not be at 9 to 10. Some of us are at high level because there's somebody keeping you on your toes. So please share the slides. I'll share. And my co-host, you can share the registration link. We're going to share we're going to share the link, the registration link, and you put your email there. We're going to share these slides immediately. So my co-host, you can, oh, someone is saying I share the slides. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me share. Sorry. My co-host, you can do the registration link on the chat. So if you can be able to see my screen, you can share yes, so that we can proceed with the books. Okay, thank you. Let's proceed. So with the rate that you have given me, let's see now how we are going to rate ourselves. So what are some of the books that are required for bookkeeping purposes? A sales invoice and a receipt. Remember, even if we are doing an accounting software, we have to get a sales invoice at the end of it or get a receipt. And organizations that are doing it the organization that are doing it very, very well, after you give the customer the receipt or the invoice, there is another book. So kindly, the email you're going to register on the link. Don't share the email on the chat. You're going to share it on the link that will be shared right now. So the sales invoice, the organization that will even have those physical sales invoice, that when they get one for the customer, they also retain another one. Some organizations, especially the ones that do delivery, so you buy something, it is delivered on your site. So there's a delivery note and there is an invoice. When it comes to you, it is triplet. One is signed, one remained in the office, another one you given, and another one you sign, and it comes back to the organization. So the organization, even if the system collapses, they have sales invoices with them saved somewhere. Purchases invoices and receipts. And receipts, similarly, when you buy something, you have the purchases invoices and receipts. Bank statements, credit card statement, M-Pesa statements, all of them. But on a monthly basis, so that you can also do the reconciliations. Expenses, we have the petty cash register, petty cash vouchers, and physical receipts and payment vouchers. So we have the petty cash register. It's a book, and you can even do it online. There is a register that you say, and I don't know how we replenish. So if you give an accountant, the best formula, when you give an accountant like 100,000 or has attendance. So I don't know, we can't see the slides. Okay, let me see what is going on. Let me see. We can't see the slides, no slides. You have shared the attendance chart. Okay. Okay, stop share. Let me share again. So tell me if you can see the correct one. Yes. Yes, sure. Okay. So I talked about the sales invoices and receipt purchases invoices, bank. Now I was at the petty cash. So the petty cash has a register. And I said you can do it online. You can also do it on Excel. And so when you give an accountant 100,000 and you give money for expenses, they should give you a list of anticipated expenses. So the anticipated expenses for this week is 80,000. Some of us give money for not even anticipated. We don't anticipate. So they give you a list of the expenses they would want to share. After you do that, then you give them that money, 80,000. The next week, before you give them other money, they're supposed to give you that petty cash register. You go through it, attached with the receipts, and those petty cash vouchers and payment vouchers attached, receipts attached. You verify them so that now you can, and after you verify and ask cash for this week, they will give you a list of 50,000 or 100,000. Then, depending on the week and the payment you're doing, then you replenish that account. That is the correct formula. Then this petty cash account you have to come back to the accounting software you're using to input all these expenses, and you keep inputting them on a monthly basis. So petty cash is something that is crazy. And some of us don't even follow up on how the money is being spent and what is happening. You go to organization, even before that petty cash is released, there are 3 people signing. Those are internal controls, and they are good. They are good. So depending on the nature of the organization, internal controls are very vital at any payment. At the end of the day, those payments are supposed to, that is money coming out of the organization, so it has to be protected. Petty cash vouchers, no, payment vouchers happens when you're doing an expense payment. For instance, if you're paying for rent, other services, legal services, audit when I come to you. Next time, I guess I will give you samples of how payment vouchers should look like. When you have written that check, when the person comes to the organization to pick, they should sign a payment voucher. So the payment voucher should be written, RWK Africa Audit Services, 100,000. And then for year 2024, blah, 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 given those details, what is the payment for? Then the check number is this, then should be signed here. The accountant signs, or the person preparing the payment voucher signs, then the accountant signs, and then the person picking this check, they have to sign there and their ID number, or their ID number could be. So that is the formula for payment voucher, and those payment vouchers are very, very important. You cannot release a check just for the sake. Ati mtu alikujia tu compare to payroll, a salary voucher, schedules, and pay slips. So payroll, when we are having a payroll, we should prepare a payroll document where you list all the people that you're paying, their salaries, and possibly the bank where the money is going, and somebody has to sign at the end of the day there. The person who prepared, possibly the manager, the director, they have to sign. Those schedules are very, very important. And the organization who give pay slips, which is also okay. Then we also have an asset register. I don't know how many of us have asset registers, where you register every purchase of an asset. So when you buy a laptop, a computer, a car, then there should be a receipt, an invoice, something that because you purchased something, a logbook, and it should be kept in a file, and a register should be kept. There are others who go to an extent of barcoding the asset, which is very important. And depending with the nature of the asset, if it is a school, because it will have a lot of chairs, beds, and so many things. Some of our organizations, they just have 2 tables and chairs. So you're like, but you also need to keep a register for what you're having. Connect. So can you be able to hear me now? Okay. Okay, sorry. So we were continuing, and then electricity just happened to go off. So let's continue. Let's proceed. Can you be able to also see my notes? Can you be able to see my notes, or I need to share again? I need a yes, or you can see my notes. Okay. So you can see my notes, Asante. So we have an asset register. I say depending on the nature of the organization, you can go to a level of spending on barcodes. It's very important. Receipts for business expenses, any expense, whether it's border, you did, someone delivered, you pay them 100 shillings. They should sign a petty cash voucher. So any payment coming out of the organization should have a document. Stock management, stock sheets. I talked about that. You have a sheet that has all the items, and then you do a count, a physical count, and you reconcile with the system. And there are organizations that are able to do stocks, even they're able to do in the morning and in the evening, 2 times in a day. So you should be organized. If you stock intense, that you have a lot of stock, you should be able to organize them very well, that you can be able to conduct stock within 30 minutes. And 30 minutes in the evening before people leave, because that is your core. The moment you lose on your stock, you lose on your business. Director's account, there are some of us who do services, so that stock is not your core, depending on your business. Director's accounts, so we keep director's account because they are also part of the business. And this could be if these directors are doing withdrawals. I said withdrawals are very dangerous. If they are doing investment in the organization, especially places where director injects money, you should be having a director account in your balance sheet so that it can accommodate injection, and it can also accommodate withdrawals. And if you don't have that, and you have those injection and withdrawal, sometimes during tax issues, there's always so many issues. Loan agreements and statements. If you have loan statements, if you have loan that in your balance sheet, the organization has loans, you should be having those loan agreements and those statements. Very, very important. Taxation, have those tax returns. I don't know when we pay tunaiwacha hivyo because it's online. Do we actually print it and keep it there, that when I come to organization, I can get a VAT file, I can get a pay as you earn file, or I can even get a tax file that has everything, all of the taxes that you've been paying. It is very, very important. So those are some of the books that you require depending on your organization. When it comes to sales, there are some organizations that will have, when it comes to purchases, there are organizations that will have those invoices. They will have invoices and receipts. They will have LPOs to order, good received notes to receive the goods. They will have credit notes, debit notes, depending on your organization, delivery notes. So depending on how you operate, you can be able to know which documents do I really require. And that is something that also we can help you with when we are laying down the structures for bookkeeping. Let's continue with the accounting system audit. I said auditing your accounting system is very, very important. And I asked a question, how many of you are able to do that? So when we come, what do we look? We look at the levels of data entry. Who does what in the organization? Are we having people who are doing everything that at the end of the day, they can even misuse the system? Internal controls, what are the controls in the system? What are areas of controls within the system? Access right, who has a right for what? So if it is a cashier, what do they do over the system, and where do their right ends? We have an accountant, we have a finance manager, a chief accountant, we have the director. What rights do each one of them have? Backdating, can the accounting software backdate information? We come to you, and we've seen some of the accounting software being very manipulated, that you can create an invoice today, and after an hour, you can backdate it to 2024. You can actually backdate it. So backdating, can it be able to do backdate? Can we be able to delete information? If you can be able to delete information, then it is very, very dangerous. Someone can do information and delete. Audit trail. Can it give us an audit trail of how transactions are moving and who did what over the system? Approval system, does it have approval system that someone can raise an invoice and then another one approves, or a credit note, especially credit notes, that an accountant can raise a credit note and the manager approved that credit note? Reconciliation, can it do bank reconciliation and stock reconciliation over the system and do it very, very well? And reporting, can it give us a report, trial balance, profit and loss, balance sheet, which is accurate? So those are some of the things that we're going to check when you come for that system audit, and it is very vital. So we are at a point where that the internal controls and theft and forensic areas are now over the system. So people are doing it categorical over the system, not not physically. So what are some of the books that are required for KRA audit, tax audit purposes? Most of this document is what, besides what we talked about bookkeeping records, this is what KRA will be specifically looking at. So they will ask you for sales ledger. Why are they asking for the sales? The sales ledger is provided by your accounting software. And that's why I say the ledger require a lot of reconciliation so that it can have the correct information. And this ledger you'll be asked for 3-4 years. So you need to keep it very, very well. They want to see under declarations. So in your income statement, you declared 30 million. In your VAT, you declared 35 million. And if you find someone who, until now, they are declaring something different from what they filed for VAT, your auditor needs, I don't know, a big change. We don't make those mistakes now. And you've been here, you know, I talk about that. Your VAT and your income tax should tally. They should tally at any one point. So if I come to your organization and I find you making that decision, that auditor is a quack. So the next point, those things are already tallying. KRA want to see your bank statement to verify that this 30 million you declared is a 30 million in your bank statement, is a 30 million in your sales ledger, the sales ledger that you operate, the accounting software that you operate. So if it is different, there's a problem. So when I come to audit you, I look at your sales ledger for the whole year. Does it give us what is in the VAT, in the income tax? And if it gives us something different, what is that difference? Because I also have to bring you in terms with the differences. And how can we also work on the differences so that we make sure that it's able to reconcile with the rest? Remember, when you close a year, you don't know when audit will come. So if you have these issues backward, you don't know even how to correct them when tax audit hits on the door. And some of us accountant, when KRA writes, oh, give us a bank sales ledger purchases, we are quick to we are quick to provide. Some of tax issues, especially now, let the tax issues be handled by a correct, qualified tax consultant. It is very, very important. We do a lot, by the way. So purchases ledger, similar, they want to see your purchases. They want to see if you have under declarations. A purchase is a sale. You cannot purchase and not sell. Either you purchase, you did not sell, is in your stock. So it's either in your stock or in your sales. So if you have a lot of purchases in your income tax, vis-a-vis your sales is not aligning and your stock are not aligning, then there's a fraudulent issues happening. Sales and purchases invoices, these are physical invoices. After looking at the ledgers, they can ask for a sample sales invoices and purchases invoices. And the way they raise that sample is crazy. Sometimes you find that all the samples they raise, you don't even have those invoices. General ledger. General ledger shows our expenses. These are general ledgers. They show the transport expense, the every expense, the payroll, the petty cash, everything. So they want to see those expenses that you showed on the income tax. They want to see them on this general ledger, and they will even look at the journals, the journal entry, everything. Asset register, you said you have assets in your balance sheet. They want to see those assets in the asset register. Asset register is very important. M-Pesa statement, bank statement, I've talked about that. Debtors and creditors account. They want to see, they will ask you for debtors list and creditors list. At the end of the year, remember you have debtors and creditors in your balance sheet. And balance sheet, you know, sometimes we concentrate on profit and loss, yet our balance sheet shows so many tax issues. For instance, debtors. If you have debtors of 50 million and your sales is 10 million, there's a problem. A credit sale is still a sale. So those, how we even do our balance sheet is very, very important. So I go to organization that you're just having someone balancing your balance sheet unknowingly. So they put things back, loans that you don't even have, debtors that you don't have, and creditors. They sometimes put working capital and equity. They use them as balancing figure. They use them as balancing figure, and yet they have a lot of, they will have a lot of implication, especially during audit. Salaries and wages and the payroll, they want to see the payroll and they want to see the salaries and the wages. Remember, we said the wages should have a wages sheet. They want to see that wages sheet and they want to determine are these people casuals or are they casuals or they should be on the payroll? Director's account, especially where the account is on the balance sheet, they want to see that director's account. Loan statement, they want to see if you actually have those loans that you have declared on your balance sheet. Inventory account, this is stocks, especially closing stock. When you want to lower profits, what do? You increase your closing stock. So you say your closing stock is 30 million, yet your real closing stock is 10 million. They want to see those closing stock sheets. And if they're not satisfied, they can even come to the organization to do a physical count. So I want to talk about emerging issue. I have talked about bookkeeping, how to enhance. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts before I talk about the emerging issues in KRA. So let me hear at what point are we now? We said 5, 8, 7. Where are we? Are we keeping these books within the organization? So from a scale of 0 to 10, where are we? And you can start asking your question. Start asking your question. I'll get time to answer a few. So you can start asking a few questions to the scale. Where are we now? Very important. And also, it's never too late to make changes. When I go to an organization that have correct bookkeeping, internal controls are okay, then I know that this company is geared for scaling. They are geared to the next level. If I come and there are no records, the accounting software is not working, there's so many things that need to be done, and for you to now be able to think about growth. When you get growth and some of these areas you're missing out on them, you end up even having more problem and more issues. So we can help you enhance your bookkeeping. You can do, my co-host, you can do a calendar booking. Kindly do a calendar booking. The calendar booking is free of charge. Someone who is going to call you and we can talk about it. My co-host, you can do a calendar booking on the chat. It's free of charge. It's free of charge, and then we can be able to help you on that. Co-host, I'll proceed when we do a calendar booking. What about ITIMS? Kindly briefly share. I want to share about emerging issues in tax. I want to share emerging issues in tax. So that is the next point. So let's discuss that as my co-hosts do a calendar booking. I say the calendar booking is free, free consultation. We give you a 30 minutes free consultation. So key tax compliance guidelines, especially for bookkeeping, thorough understanding of your business tax, important, maintain accurate books. Actually, accurate books is the core, is the heart for avoiding tax issues. Ensure timely and accurate filing of returns, explore legitimate tax planning strategies, we talk about that, engage with a tax professional or a consultant to ensure your business is fully compliant. You can talk to us on that. Regular check the official communication from KRA to stay updated. We do a lot of tax health check. Respond accurately and quickly to KRA upon request of information. And the request for information, I urge you to consult the tax professional. Let us respond on this information on your behalf, because we understand the information required. Emerging issues, we have the tax amnesty. It ends in June 30th. Deadline, June 30th, 2025. I hope we are taking an advantage of the amnesty, and I don't think it's going to be extended. So kindly, you can work on it. By the way, KRA reported that they've been able to waive 140 million from their outstanding liabilities. Enhance ITIMS self-onboarding, multiple solution on one platform. This was announced last month that they've been able to enhance ITIMS. So you don't even have to go to KRA. You can do self-onboarding and you can be able to use it. Also, multiple solution in one platform. You can be able to do, it has so many solutions. You can be able to do clients, the client ITIMS, the e-citizen one, the portal one, and everything will be reconciled on your platform. KRA launches three trade facilitation hub to ease. So we'll talk about this more when we'll be doing the tax trends. We had a bit of changes in NSSF, and that was enhanced in February, additional. So the tier 1 was coming to 7,000. Then the tier 2 was raised to 72 from 36, quite high. And when we talk about ITIMS, especially the outer population, what I can say about outer population is that during the many meetings that we had with KRA, it is here to stay. So it is here to stay. So I urge us to be able to see how we can be able to get acquainted with outer population and being able to pay the taxes due. Right now, if you get an invoice which is not auto-populating or something that is illegal, by the way, those illegal, invalid invoices, they are being detected by e-teams very, very fast. So you get your PIN being closed very, very easily. They are deactivating VAT, and you go to something we call a special table, and there's a whole process of audit. So make sure that you're able to run the VAT e-teams very, very well. We'll be talking about e-teams next month, how understanding e-teams, and I will talk about it and even how it's operating. I think it will be a very core topic. We have done it before, but we feel most of us are still not able to understand how it's operating. And the KRA is going to raise a lot of tax issues out of e-teams. I don't know, my friend, what you wanted to understand about e-teams. I would encourage you to come next month to learn more about e-teams. I don't know what question you are having. Management overriding internal controls. Yeah, I know that sometimes management does not cooperate when it comes to internal controls. But possibly the management that want the organization to grow, they are very cooperative. So not unless Dinkins, it's a corporation that you're having, cooperation. So there's somebody who is not an owner of the organization. They're in the management. They're not owners. So they don't care if these internal controls work or not. Actually, they want them not to work so that they can get something out of it. But when you go to organization that especially management own the organization, the internal controls work very, very well. The form that one can register to get notes, my co-host is going to share. You can go up the comments. You're going to find it there. You're going to find it there. And then also we can do a calendar booking. My co-host, you can also do our number, our company. Let me share our number. So if you need also to call us for something, you can be able to call. Before I talk about my accurate book software, because we've been talking about bookkeeping, there's somebody who was said there they are sourcing for an accounting software. So we got you. Taxation, we are having an upcoming event in the month of April. We'll be doing taxation for export business. This is our monthly sector-based taxation. So we'll be handling taxation for export business, and we'll be talking about the tax obligation, all of them, VAT refunds. Some of you are not able to access the refunds. We'll talk about tax saving strategies, tax audit, tax triggers, and how to solve tax disputes. So this is a physical training. You can come in and just learn, and we get an interaction to be happening in Nairobi. So we have the audit and bookkeeping masterclass. I talked about this. So we are having them in the month of May. So it's 10,000 each, but if you pay for both, it's 15,000, and you also give you a certificate. We are the best when it comes to audit, bookkeeping, master, and taxation. We are having a taxation masterclass that is ending today, but we have another one, I guess, in the month of June. So you can also plan on that and attend. So we do tax health check, and you can call us to help you do the tax health check. So we can come in and help you on your tax. We charge 15,000 for that tax. We provide you with a check. We check the previous 2 years. We help you with tax planning, advice on any pending tax issues. You can talk to us. And we also do tax. We also do tax services, bookkeeping services, and internal control services. We have all those services, and you can be able to join us for that. Our number is that down there, 0728 897 424. and you can call in and be able to talk to me. And we can have the conversation. My co-host will do a calendar booking right there, and you can be able to join us. So let me see if you have a question I can answer before I talk about my accurate books. Yes, I can see the free consultation. You can do a calendar booking, and we're going to help you on that. We're going to answer you. On eTeams, is it a must to register for VAT obligation? Not a must. By the way, eTeams has eTeams for non-VAT. So if you're not on the threshold, 5 million threshold turnover per year, you can register eTeams for non-VAT. So remember, eTeams was put there that every business in Kenya should be eTeams registered. So that was a rule in 2023. 2024, we said placards, finance bill must go. So we are waiting for fresh conversation about eTeams. But the conversation that was there was suppose every business in Kenya should be eTeams compliant. So that's they were able to open up eTeams for non-VAT. And then there's VAT, the eTeams for VAT exempt, zero rated, there, everything, every VAT obligation is there. And then we have said that the eTeams right now is self-onboarding, so you don't have to go to KRA. You can be able to do it on your own. You can download the eTeams client, the one that you put on your laptop. You can buy the machine. You can get an integration. You can do the USSD code. When I'll be talking next month about understanding eTeams, I'll talk about the different ways you can be able to register and use eTeams. How long does the tax amnesty take of application? Immediate, I guess after 24 hours, immediate, it's almost immediate. The moment you pay for the principal amount and you do the application, previously they were saying it's supposed to be automatic, but to be just sure, you just do an application. Within 24 hours, they remove that penalties and interest out of the system. So it is as fast as that. Then when you pay for that principal amount, you don't have to pay for everything. So you pay for the principal amount, you ask for that amnesty for that period. Then you pay for the next one, you ask for that, like that. So you don't have to wait until the entire principal is over for you to apply for the amnesty. It's also very easy to apply over the system. And if you're having a challenge, you can do the calendar booking and we can help you with that. So with that, let's talk about my accurate book software. It's a game changer in the market. And are you sharing your screen? Yeah, okay, sorry, okay. So we're going to share, just be here, I'll take you, someone will take you for the next 15 minutes and we'll be done. So when we started making or developing the accounting software, we saw a need in the market. And especially because we run a CSR program where we help people have skills to do business. It is in those incubation programs that I realized that most of these micro SMEs, they were not having an accounting software that they were able to use. Most of the accounting softwares were very complex, that even an owner who doesn't have the accounting background could not be able even to understand them. So we designed something that is extremely user-friendly, but also it's able to give you the correct reports, and also you are also able to use it very, very well. So I'll invite my friend John to take you through for the next 15 minutes.
All right. If you can hear me, share a smile, a smile. Right. Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, kindly wave at me. I see you, Bonaventure. I see you, Nancy. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I see you, Dickens. So in the next 15 minutes, my name is, thank you, Gladys. Thank you, Lillian. I can see all of you are with me. So my name is John Gashoka, and I'm happy to share this very important discussion. Thank you, Paul, about how you can simplify your accounting as individuals who are involved with managing bookkeeping and financial management for your businesses or organization. So my name is John Gashoka. I work here at RWK in the sales and marketing department, and I'm happy to take you through a conversation on my accurate books. Thank you, Rachel, Tabitha, Esther. I see you all. So in the next 1 minute, I'd like to hear from you, or I'd like to get maybe in 1 or 2 words. What is your biggest worry as an accountant or as a business owner when it comes to financial management? In 2 or 3 words, what is your biggest worry when it comes to financial management or accounting? Before we jump right into my accurate books, feel free to write on the chat box. I can see it, and we will be in a position to respond to that. I see Dickens talks of reporting and compliance. Rachel talks about compliance. Irene always asking myself if I am doing the right thing. The cash flows, that is Gilbert. Wonderful, wonderful. I want to be Rachel not being able to capture the right things. And there's correct record keeping, wonderful, accurate books and compliance, tracking of income and wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Balance sheet as well. Nice. So there's a gentleman, maybe just to give a basis. So Paul talks of using an advanced Excel, and what about cookbook class? We deliberate on that. However, in the meantime, just to set base of our next 10 minutes conversation, I'd like to quote someone by the name D. Hawk. That is the founder and CEO of Visa Credit Card Association. And he said that making good judgment when one has complete data, fact, and knowledge is not leadership. It is bookkeeping. And the beauty of bookkeeping is either it's right or it's wrong. And when it's wrong, you can make it right. Now, with my accurate books, as it has been mentioned, this software has been put in place to help business owners and even people in accounting or accountants to consolidate their financial information in that they can extract reports without a hassle. And in this case, what we've done under this software is that, one, we have invested in making sure that it is safe for you to use, in that we have put in place firewalls to protect you from any form of infiltration. In that when you get to a point where maybe there's some form of someone trying to infiltrate, we are in a position to flag it and protect you at that point. At the same time, we've done it in a way of, we made it as simple as possible, in that someone with basic understanding of using an Android phone or even a computer can navigate through this software. And thirdly, the fact that information is stored in the cloud. Even when you lose your gadgets or even documents, you can still go to your account and get your information in that software. So without waste of a second, allow me to jump right into the software. So when you go to the software is in Play Store, you just type My Accurate Books. I believe my co-host can share a link in that regard. And if you're using your computer, I know for people, for users of Android phone, we don't have it in iOS. However, through the web search, you can create an account and start rolling or start running your account. Now, if you're signing up for the first time, you would have to click on sign up. But allow me to just log into my account and take you through a very quick journey of what is in stock for you as a user. So allow me to log in. And as I log in, feel free to ask questions. Someone will attend to that. And one thing that you need to be proud of as people in accounting and people in bookkeeping is that your profession is irreplaceable. So even with advancements and all that, your profession is safe. So as soon as you create your account, this will be your landing page. And under your landing page, you can see basically this dashboard. You can see how your sales are performing, how the expenses are, the purchases that you've made, and even you can see a summary of how your P&L looks like. And when it comes to, this can be used by people in the retail, people in consulting, or even people who are in the service industry, including manufacturing. And now, coming to the dashboard, I know one of the things that you mentioned is about compliance. At the moment, we are working on how the system can be integrated with the KRA so that you can even generate an ETIMS receipt or invoice through this system. And moment. Right, here we go. So allow me to roll again from the top when it comes to logging in. And basically your landing page and how you can initiate your process of creating an account. Now, if you don't have an account, as soon as you search My Accurate Books, this will be your landing page. This will be your landing page. If you don't have an account, you can either sign up. If you have an account, you will just log in. Now that I do have an account, let's just log in and get to see what what is in stock for you as a user. All right. So this is your landing page where you're able to see how your sales are performing. You're able to see your expenditure and even purchases that you've made on behalf of the business, and also profit and loss in summary. And the good thing is that under the date range, you can extract a daily or weekly or even monthly, or depending on the date that you wish to extract a report, you can do that from this dashboard. Now, over here, from the dashboard, you have items, you have the aspect of sales, you have purchases, expenses, customers, reports, and even user management. And down there, there is an upcoming feature for managing branches for businesses which has more than one branch. Now, if you wish to, when it comes to updating, this is where you list services that you offer or products that you offer. It depends with the sector that you are in. And the good thing about it, when it comes to importing, you can download a template from this system, key in information of the product and cost, and then import it to the system. That way, it will you will only be going to instead of adding an item, you will be going to sell to make a sale. For example, if I want to add an item, maybe I want to be I'm a consultant, maybe brand manager or tax consulting, and this is a service, and maybe I charge per hour or a whole day. Let's talk of a day. And maybe I charge 10,000. This has tax. So for those who, when you're offering goods, you can upload a picture of the goods that you're offering, and you add that. So when you add that item, it is top as a service. It is on top of your products or services. So you go right into sales. Sales, you can generate quotations, you can generate invoices, and you can generate receipts. Now let's start with the receipt. So this receipt, I want to sell, let me add a receipt. I want to add an item, and in this case, tax consulting. And that is 10,000, and I say update, continue to receive details. Customer, under this system, you can list names of customers that you render services to, whether it's a corporate, an individual, or even in the event that you don't have a name, you have an option of putting in a walk-in. In this case, let's say that the service is being offered to John Gashoka, and the payment method that's optional, and you say I create a receipt. tax consulting. Category is a service. Description is a visa charge per day, and the cost is 10,000. And it is vetted, and I add it. Kindly bear with me. Okay. So in this case, let's say I'm paying with M-Pesa. Then we go back to now generating that receipt. That receipt. That is tax consulting. So if the payment done through mobile money or either cash, you can update it in your in the system. So in this case, that number is making that payment, and let's say CPA-K and all those numbers, and then we create that receipt. So you already have the receipt with you, and you can view it. If you have a POS system, you can print it out. If maybe you're not printing it out, you just want to download it and have a glance, you can download it still in the system, and you'll get something like this. So this you'll get such a receipt. It has tax obligation is taken care of, and all that. Now let's try and generate an invoice, because in some instances you may have to generate an invoice. In this case, you still go to add an invoice. Still, we say we are consulting, tax consulting. Category, that's a service. Now, with the payments, you could say maybe 50%. 50% prior and the rest will be paid after delivery of service. And the cost is 10,000. Still, this has VAT, so and you add it. So when you come to your invoices or when it comes to your payments, received payments, %50 prior, and the rest after service delivery. So you give the service delivered to the invoice is developed today, the last payment should be made by tomorrow. So you scroll down and create that invoice. So on your dashboard, you can see that no payment has been made, but you have already invoiced. So when it comes to payment, you go to received payments. And you can see someone owes your business and say maybe they pay. Now that we have two pending payments, our focus is on the last payment of 10,000. So you say status is pay partially, the 5,000. That is M-Pesa. And you say the amount is 5,000. Balance paid by 22nd March 2025, and you submit that. So you see it has reduced the amount that is owed to the business. If you go to as a business, you have expenditures, you pay bills. That should be updated in this system so that when you're getting or when you're extracting your reports, you're able to get everything that has been transacted under the business. Now, when you go to expenses, one of the major expenses would be electricity bill. The other one could be rent for your offices. The other could be internet payment, among other services. So over here, you can update every expense that the business has incurred. Because when you're extracting your reports for P&L, you would need to have everything in the system. On purchases, especially for those who are in supplies, when you're developing your purchase orders, you can do that in this system. And it is made in a way that you can even update details of the supplier, so that as you generate that purchase order, you're able to include all the details of that supplier. The other thing is that in the event that you are dealing with customers, maybe even vendors, you can update their details in this system. And maybe to summarize it, when it comes to customers, as I have mentioned, you can include their details so that, for example, you wish to reach out and you wish to have a consolidated CRM in case you have some concerns or questions, or even follow up on services that you've offered. You're able to do that by getting their details from this system. In the event that your supplier maybe delivers something that is substandard, you're able to send them a debit note so that they get to know the struggles, or they get to know that they've given something that is substandard. That applies to even those who are in service industry and those who even give out, those who are even supplying products. If you supply an expired product, you expect that you could get a credit note. You can make that out of this system. And when it comes to reports, you're able to get your stock levels in form of raw materials, in form of goods. But for the people in service industry, you only update all the services that you offer and the costing. And the good thing is that you can edit every now and then, depending on what you desire to be in the system. In creation of this account, the other very important bit is that you can create it as a in the name of your company or in the name of the business that you operate, so that when you generate an invoice, it has all the details of the business. And when it comes to P&L, like now in the case of this business, I'm able to download a PDF or an Excel report at the end of the day, or even after a week or so. Now, in the case of this business, we are making loss. That is why net profit or loss is in negative 173,000. However, depending on the stocks that I have, when everything is sold, that can change. So the system is able to advise on the trends of your business, so that if you're not performing as desired, you're able to make informed decision on the best way forward to keep your business afloat. On a daily basis, you're able to get your report on sales. Like now, today, I've made a sale of 5,000. You remember the invoice that we generated? Someone deposited 5,000. That is part of the income that I've already made today. And when it comes to user management, you can give as many people as possible roles in this system. But as the administrator, you have access to every information in the system. Now, if you need to have someone in this system, you can update their names, you can update their email, phone, and give them a password. And you assign them a role. If it's an admin, you can give them a role. If it's a cashier, you can give them a role. If it's an accountant, you can also give them a role. In this case, let's say we have an accountant. And that accountant is me. Let's give another email address, for example, jgw@gmail. And the phone number we could say 0700 0000001. And you assign me a password. So in the system, you can give me different responsibilities. And as an accountant, I need to have access to expenses. I need to have an access to sales, inventory, purchases, reports, and even dashboard. But now as an admin, you have every other role. So, and you create that user. In the event that the user is no longer serving with you, you can deactivate them and update. So they will not have access to any of your information or any information regarding your business. And as I mentioned earlier, when it comes to branches, that's an upcoming feature, and we should be closing on it in a month's time. And at this point, I wish to open the floor to respond to questions, concerns, or clarification that might be coming from you. I thank you very much for your time. So I see there is a question from so Milka, I see you say yes, it stores all data in the cloud, it can get lost or tampered with. The good thing with the system is that, as I mentioned earlier, we put in place firewalls to protect you, and we are able to flag anyone trying to tamper with your information. And unlike any other software, this one, the fact that the information is stored in the cloud. Some others, if it is stored in a PC, someone can just come and access it and even play around with the information. And of course, that would be detrimental to your business or even to your bookkeeping. So we have put that into consideration. When it comes to I see Data Nondeto asks, so it can be integrated. That is something that we are pursuing with KRA, and therefore very soon, in fact, could be before the end of month, it will be integrated with eTeams to make your work easier. So Dan Kazungu asks, how can you quantify some of the items like a bag of nails? You're able to do that in this system. You can update it as in fact, as you've listed it. If it's a half kg of nails, you can indicate that in the system and put a cost on it. So that has been taken care of. Bonadan Kazungu, David Kazungu. Anyoro asks, is there an option to scan a receipt in this system? That is an area that, again, that is an area that we are finalizing on. So that the biggest objective is to make it as easy or as convenient as possible to any user. So that is another area that you're working on where you can scan a receipt. So Victor, you ask whether it works in East Africa currencies. Now, the good thing with the system is that at the moment, you can operate it either in Kenya, Uganda, or Tanzania. But we've not considered Rwanda, South Sudan, Burundi, and even DRC. And so, but as time goes by, we intend to go global. We just started focusing with the initial East Africa, that is Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. So with regards to reports, Dickens, with regards to reports, you're able to get, if you wish to get, for example, an expense report, you can extract that independently. If you wish to get a report on maybe purchases, you're able to extract that independently. And if you wish to get a consolidated report or a comprehensive report, you're able to extract it in the system. Wadeto, I see you see an opportunity. Why don't we have a conversation behind the tent? I think we can have this conversation. So, am I looking at? My ad does not have final account and trial balance. I'm scanning through the question. How does my accurate look support multiple outlet? All right, Victor Seje, in regards to managing different outlets, we have, that is an upcoming product, as I mentioned, under branches, where you can be in a position to run different branches. But as an administrator, you have access to every information in the different outlets. At the moment, the only way you can be in a position to see what is happening in one outlet, you're able to assign someone a role where they can key in information in the system. And as the administrator, you're able to see every available information that has been keyed in the system. However, in the nearest future, our goal is to make sure that you are able to manage branches without a hassle. All right. I see. Now, Paul Mungai asked the question of charges. So the good thing with us is that because we have around the clock system where we can help you, as soon as you download it, we can help you understand it more without rush. At the moment, we are giving it for, we allow you to use the system for free for 2 weeks. However, after that, you can upgrade to either level. That is, you could upgrade to monthly, quarterly, or even annually. For the monthly cost or for the monthly charge, there are 2 tiers. That is the standard tier, which we charge only 500 shillings, and we have the gold tier, that is 750 shillings a month. If you pay quarterly, you will only be paying 1,400 for 4 months, or that is for the standard package, or 2,200 for that quarter. And annually, you are only required to pay 5,500 shillings only for the standard package and 9,000 shillings for the gold package. And having said all that, I would invite you to download the application, get to interact with it. I believe my co-host will share contact where if you're stuck, feel free to reach out, because we would be happy to help you understand it more and even implement it in your daily activities. Having said that, I thank you very much for your time. It's been an honor having these discussions with all of you. I wish you a good afternoon and a great weekend ahead. I thank you very much, unless there are other questions. And if there are further questions, the contacts that will be shared here, feel free to call anytime. We will be in a position to respond to you. I thank you very much.